I do believe there's a lot of learning that has to happen in terms of standards, morals, values, principles of marriage that are lost in a lot of couples. There is a wisdom that parents have around the integrity of a marriage and the longevity of a marriage that is lost in the present generation.
Mm.
You know, I was just in a youth talk the other night, talking about, how when you look at the divorce rates of, just historically in society in general, Western, Eastern, Muslim, non-Muslim, they were far lower than they are today. And a lot of that had to do with the standards and the idea and the principles that govern marriage. Whereas today, we're very much at a Darwinian orientation of marriage, like, survival of the fittest, and everyone's just like looking for their self-preservation, and their personal interests. And so it's become this really toxic space of negotiating two big egos about what they want. And I don't really see myself in this marriage. There's also, we've learned a lot of language that is dakhil. It's kind of been imprinted upon or brought into. It's like aliens, like an alien host that has been brought into our discourse on marriage or heritage of marriage in a way where it's like, I'm not fulfilled in this marriage. That now means a lot. I don't find myself in this marriage. That means something to people in a way where if you go to, for centuries, how people thought of marriage, like, wait, what does myself even mean?
Mm.
What does that mean? What does it mean to invoke myself in such a way?
Mm.
What does it mean to find myself? Where is this language even coming from? I don't know that in centuries, endless centuries of discourse around marriage, that people are going to talk about finding self. But yes, in a secular, individualistic, liberal paradigm of marriage, it's all about the self. It's
Yeah.
all about the self, right? So you see the culture shock between that I'm reading into this question about a parent who's saying, like, well, there's other principles and standards that you have to think about in terms of maintaining your marriage. And then, like, I'm thinking, well, I don't find myself, I'm not sure. And I'm telling you, I'm noticing alarming fickleness in marriages. It's like with every like generation, it's becoming more fickle. So I'm noticing, for example, in the younger, like the 20-year-olds who are getting married today, very casually, people are walking away from marriages for completely insignificant things, objectively insignificant. Like, I want to travel a lot, and my spouse is not really for that. So, okay, no, it was nice knowing you. I'm gonna go find something else. Huh? Wait, what? You just got married 6 months ago, a year ago. Yeah, but I don't think we're really. So we've adopted this very self-centered idea of like the date culture and the swipe, the swipe culture, and we've appropriated into the space of marriage that, for centuries on end, the space of marriage was a space of duty and responsibility and sacrifice. The way men conceived of marriage and the way women conceived of marriage was, I'm coming to serve. I'm coming to be dutiful. I'm coming because this is a big project, the project of the family. So you keep your head down, you work hard, But now it's like, I'm just me and personally, and I feel, and perhaps, and I could, and there's better, and there's this false notion of choice and the freedom to explore. Because if you notice, for example, not in the US, when this country instituted the idea of no fault divorces being that you didn't have to have a reason for divorce. Because up until, I forgot when no fault divorces were instituted, but it was something like the 70s, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later. No fault divorces, when it was first instituted, actually, I believe in California, it was just like, before, you had to have the objective reason, stand in front of the judge, and you had to have a reason for divorce. Now, no fault divorce means there's no fault. We just want to get divorced. So now, I just want to get out. I don't want this. And so you also have to have trusted elders, teachers, respected people in your life who can help counsel you on, I know you may think that your marriage is a dead end. And I know you may conceive or perceive that maybe this marriage is just absolutely should not be for me.
Mm.
but on objective terms from people who you trust and know, and people of knowledge and people of foresight and wisdom. Let them, empower them to help you think differently about your marriage, because you may be someone who has potentially fallen to a place where your standards and your bar is lower than it should be. We actually need a communal project to elevate the standard and the conception of what marriage is, rather than a self-centered or self-indulgent enterprise, that actually is a sacred institution that's predicated and built upon khidmah, service. You serve dutifully, lovingly. When you talk about standing in front of Allah, I'll close with this because we've gone well beyond time, but the Prophet said that when he speaks about mas'uliyah, this is a very important hadith that I want to close with, the idea of responsibility. He says, kullukum mas'ul, all of you are responsible. كلكم مسؤول وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته, and all of you are responsible for your flock. الإمام مسؤول, the imam, the sultan, whoever, he is مسؤول. والرجل مسؤول, right? ورجل راع وهو مسؤول عن أهل بيته. والمرأة راعية وهي مسؤولة عن أهل بيت زوجها. So everyone is a ra'i, everyone's a shepherd, and everyone has mas'uliyah, responsibility. So the man is responsible, and he's responsible for his family. And the wife is responsible, and she's responsible for the family of her husband. This is the prophetic language. So the Prophet is talking to us in language of, wait, you're married? Oh, so you're a person of responsibility now. It's like it's now a deeper dimension of taklif. So all of us, when we reach puberty, we become mukallaf. We become legally responsible in front of Allah. Now you come into the auspices of marriage. Now anta mas'ul. Now you have a mas'uliyah. You have a big responsibility. This is not a place of personal finding, exploration. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to find myself in Bali. What does that have to do with mas'uliyah? This is yours. By the way, I'm not saying marriage is not a beautiful thing and there can be beauty in marriage. Of course, it's a look at the Prophet Sayyidah Khadija. I mean, but that's actually a great example. Perhaps we should do a different session on, because we can talk about the love and the love story of Sayyidah Khadija and Sayyidah Muhammad, but the principal governing ethos of their marriage was mas'uliyah. Prophet was mas'ul for the ummah, he was mas'ul for the family, he was responsible, dutiful. Sayyidah Khadija, there's a complete misconception of Sayyidah Khadija that's popped out there, and those of you who've heard me talk about this, I speak about this very explicitly. Sayyidah Khadija, she served with profound excellence. She had in her home at any given time 9 children she had to tend to. Her own biological children, Zayd ibn Haritha on top of that, Sayyidina Ali on top of that, and then her child from previous marriages. So she had the children between her and the Prophet, then the children who were in the home, so you're talking about how many children that she was dutifully taking care of while the Prophet ﷺ was, in the Meccan period, what he was dealing with. So we have these like superimposed ideas of how it was, and we love to talk about the love story of Sayyidah Khadija and Sayyidina Muhammad. But when you look at the actual substance of it and how it worked every day, trust me, there was a lot of sacrifice. There was a lot of dutifulness. There was a lot of service. It's the hard, gritty, hard-hitting work that Sayyidah Khadija, she does so remarkably that Allah sends her Sayyidina Jibreel in the Shi'ab of Abi Talib to tell her, Inna Allah yuqri'uki salam. Or, Sayyidina Jibreel is telling Sayyidina Muhammad, Aqri' Khadija min Allahi salam. Give salam to Khadija from Allah. وَبَشِّرْهَا بِبَيْتٍ فِي الْجَنَّةِ, and give her the glad tidings of a house in Jannah. لَا نَصَبٍ مِنْ قَصَبٍ لَا نَصَبَ فِيهِ وَلَا وَصَبٍ. It's from pure pearls, and there's no difficulty or hardship. Because she gave sacrificially, beautifully, with service and dutifulness. These are the principles and the standards that I'm highlighting that are missing in a lot of marriages. Today, it's all about like customization. It's all about like my customized idea of what I want to see. That's why sometimes I see them talking about, okay, let's talk about potentially getting married. Okay, I promise I'm going to close with this. I promise. People are sitting there and they think that...
Sheikh, I told you have some crazy... your mindset has been made up from that crazy conflicts of New Jersey.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
I can't
Listen,
even think of
listen,
this
this is
stuff.
the last time I'm going to let you make a comment about New Jersey. And then meet
So,
me
but
outside.
this is beautiful. Keep going, Sheikh.
The last thing I'll say is that people today, when they talk about marriage and they're like considering for marriage, and young people will come and they say, "Oh, well, it's like a negotiation between two corporations, mergers and acquisitions,
Hmm.
like two corporations who are negotiating the terms. Okay, here are my terms, here are your terms. Let's negotiate terms."
So you're asking a scholar that I don't know. I just know about teaching. I'm not a business guy. I'm just a regular dude.
What are all these, like? It's like, when you see M&A lawyers, merger and acquisition lawyers, they have to go through these egregious, like, very
Fine print.
fine print, detailed lessons. That's how a lot of these marriages have become. It's like
Oof.
there were simple governing standards that govern marriage for millennia. Now we think, oh, marriage is just a reflection of my personal desires and pursuits and what I want to see for myself in my marriage. And so let me find someone who's gonna, with all these things. It's no wonder why marriages can barely survive that. I'm not saying marriages don't survive. There are plenty of marriages that do survive, and there's plenty of happiness. But I'm telling you, it's the disposition, it's the standard. So there needs to be a project. I invite every young person to, with humility, empower elders and respected elders and teachers, and gain guidance from them. Say, what do you really perceive to be, for me as a young woman or as a young man, is the pathway for success in marriage? I want to have a successful marriage. I don't want to have some customized thing that's based on my limited know-how. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, so help me. So please
May
forgive
Allah
me.
bless you, Sheikh. May Allah bless you so much.
Barakallah feek.